know you aspire to lead a life guided by kindness, integrity, and virtue. Yet one crucial point often slips our minds. Not everyone is on the same path. Our natural tendency is to hope that others are fundamentally decent, believing that goodness rests at the core of most individuals. If we are not cautious, those with harmful motives can infiltrate our lives, leaving turmoil in their wake. Stoic philosophy emphasizes the need to stay alert, to ready ourselves for whatever challenges arise. One of the greatest hurdles we face is recognizing people who mean us harm, especially since they often blend seamlessly into our surroundings. Think of the individuals you've encountered who, despite a friendly facade, will exploit vulnerabilities without a moment's hesitation, inflicting pain on others as if it were second nature. A friend, their actions can creep into our existence so subtly that we only notice the harm once it's well underway. Today, we will discuss unmistakable indicators that you are dealing with someone whose intentions are far from honorable. Whether they are strangers, supposed friends, or even family members, such individuals can threaten your serenity. It's crucial to learn how to identify and maintain distance from them. The Stoics understood that not everyone is driven by virtue. Some give in to their basest instincts. Failing to recognize them puts you at risk of being pulled into their negativity. Stay until the end, because the final group we'll cover is the most perilous. They inflict the deepest wounds and are often the toughest to spot. By the conclusion of this discussion, you'll have the insight needed to safeguard your mind, heart, and life against toxic influences. Before we dive into the first indicator, if you value wisdom and seek greater clarity in navigating life, consider signaling your support to spread this message further. Let's begin. One of the clearest, most alarming signs that a person is harmful is their delight in other people's suffering. It may sound extreme, but there are those who genuinely find pleasure in watching others struggle. This isn't always blatant. They seldom openly celebrate someone's misfortune. Instead, their behavior is subtle. Perhaps they laugh too readily at someone's embarrassment, or seem oddly cheerful when another person is having a bad day. Their quiet gratification in another's hardship reveals a disturbing darkness of character. The Stoics believe empathy and kindness are essential virtues. Marcus Aurelius reminded us that we are all interconnected, and harm to one affects us all. If someone is unmoved or even pleased by another's distress, they have cut themselves off from the very quality that makes us human: empathy. Such a person is a direct threat to communal harmony. Seneca taught that we should serve rather than exploit others, while an evil individual views another's weakness as an opening to assert superiority. They might even orchestrate situations that cause struggle just to relish the chaos. This isn't mere lack of empathy, it's the pursuit of others' anguish. These people often hide behind an ordinary exterior, masking their twisted satisfaction. They may pretend to care, but in time their true colors emerge. You'll notice they never offer sincere help, or worse, subtly worsen your situation before standing aside to watch your downfall. This can erode your confidence, leading you to doubt yourself. Exactly what they desire. The Stoic truth is that such individuals wield power over you only if you permit it. While we can't control their actions, we can govern our responses. Cultivating inner strength and virtue robs them of the influence they crave. Whilst most people believe that they have some power, such motive-based behaviors reflect the meaningfulness of the desired outcome. When you spot someone who thrives on your suffering, don't waste energy trying to change them. Instead, embrace apatheia, emotional equilibrium. You cannot reform them, but you can refuse to let them shake your tranquility. Establish boundaries, step back, and invest your efforts in what you can control: your own reactions, emotions, and growth. Another clear indicator of someone's bad intentions is their relentless drive to control everything around them. Such people crave dominance over circumstances, outcomes, and even individuals. This compulsion stems from insecurity and fear, manifesting as an obsessive need to make everything conform to their will. They feel powerless without control, so they micromanage each detail, including the people in their sphere. This is not the same as simple organization or leadership. It's far more insidious, often crossing into manipulation, coercion, and emotional intimidation. Stoicism teaches us to focus only on what we can control, our own actions and attitudes. Attempting to control others goes against a foundational principle of Stoic thought. Epictetus stressed that while some things are up to us, others are not. Trying to dictate others' decisions or emotions violates this boundary and creates a suffocating, toxic environment. To the controlling individual, other people are merely tools, their autonomy dismissed. Think about someone in your life who insists on choosing every activity, silencing your opinions, or determining how you should think and feel. Maybe it's a friend who monopolizes conversations, or a coworker who demands everything be done on their terms, regardless of the team's wishes. In more extreme cases, it might be a loved one controlling your choices, social contacts, or lifestyle. Control for them equals security, but Stoicism reminds us this is a dangerous illusion. True strength and inner mastery come from self-governance, not subjugating others. Marcus Aurelius said that our power lies in mastering our minds, not external events. Those who try to dominate everything reveal their own fragility. They have to train themselves to handle the moment. They have to recognize when to give, when to surrender. This behavior might begin subtly, disguised as helpfulness or leadership. Over time, it escalates until you see the pattern. They must dictate your time, associations, or thoughts. They might masquerade as caring, but it's about keeping you in check. This erosion of your autonomy can make you doubt your own judgment, eventually depending on them for guidance. The irony is that their compulsion to control only highlights their vulnerability. They constantly seek to master over you. When confronted with a controlling person, remember the Stoic focus on your internal world. You're in charge of your life. No one else has that right. If boundaries fail, and they persist in their dominance, distance yourself. Your serenity and personal development matter far more than appeasing their need for control. Remain focused, and entirely unabsorbing poison is better than vitalism. A potent signal that someone's intentions aren't good is the unsettling feeling you get when you're around them, even if nothing seems overtly wrong. This unease is subtle. Your heart might race, tension might thicken the air, or you may feel strangely drained after what should have been a benign interaction. Your body is alerting you to danger or manipulation before your mind can fully grasp it. Sometimes these people aren't openly harmful. They smile, act polite, and say all the right things, yet something is off. Perhaps their words don't align with their body language. Stoics would advise trusting these instincts. Our minds and bodies catch cues we haven't consciously processed. Tones, gestures, or energies that reveal hidden intentions. Consider a family gathering with a relative who, no matter how hard they try to appear normal, puts you on edge. Or a coworker who leaves you feeling inexplicably depleted after every conversation. Nothing overtly cruel might be said, yet you sense a subtle undermining. These sensations aren't imagined. They're early warnings that something is amiss. The Stoics champion vigilance and alignment with what is good. Feeling uneasy is your internal alert system flagging a mismatch between someone's outward demeanor and inner state. They may radiate a dissonance, a discord that you can sense, even if you can't name it. Rather than dismissing these feelings, pause and examine them. Are they subtly harming you, draining your energy, or making you doubt yourself? If so, listen to your intuition. Protect your peace. Don't allow unease to fester. Step back when needed. The Stoics advise calm alertness, neither panicking nor ignoring. Trust that inner voice and preserve your well-being. Another unmistakable marker of ill intent is a refusal to accept responsibility. Mistakes are part of being human, but how we handle them shows who we are. Those we must watch out for never admit wrongdoing. Instead, they blame others, portray themselves as victims, or concoct excuses. This pattern produces a toxic atmosphere where nothing resolves, and you're left feeling at fault, despite their misdeeds. In Stoicism, personal responsibility is paramount. While we cannot control what happens to us, we govern our responses. We must own our actions. Epictetus stressed that character is measured by how readily one acknowledges errors. Someone who constantly deflects blame reveals a fundamental rift from this principle. Footnote: you've likely encountered them, the coworker who, when a project fails, points fingers at everyone else, or the friend who cycles through personal crises but never acknowledges their role. Such people forego accountability, stalling personal growth and trapping others in their spiral of manipulation. They make you doubt your perceptions, compelling you to apologize for what isn't your fault. The Stoics say this avoidance of truth is weakness. Without facing reality, they remain stuck, never learning or improving. Our part is to recognize the pattern, set boundaries, and refuse to shoulder their burdens. You can't fix them, but you can protect your inner calm. Don't let their avoidance ensnare you. Instead, uphold your responsibility to yourself. Guard your peace, maintain integrity, and let them face their own consequences. A person who lies incessantly is another glaring manifestation of evil. Not the occasional white lie, but constant, unnecessary fabrications aimed at manipulation and control. Habitual liars twist reality to serve their agenda, corroding trust, the fundamental glue of relationships and communities. Such deceivers often start small, telling half-truths to mask minor failings. Over time, they spin bigger falsehoods, exaggerating achievements or inventing excuses, until lying is second nature. Eventually, they themselves may struggle to distinguish fact from fiction. But truth always emerges, leaving wreckage behind. The problem is that relentless lying undermines your sense of certainty. Interacting with a chronic liar is exhausting because you never know what's real. You find yourself second-guessing everything, caught in a swirl of uncertainty. Stoicism encourages honesty and integrity, and a liar's world is the antithesis of these virtues. Sometimes characteristics of both a high willingness and a liability to pull through, a mere curiosity. Liars often charm, acting warm and sincere. They use likability as cover, making you doubt your suspicions. But their deceit serves only them. You might yearn to force them to admit the truth, but they often double down. The best response: set boundaries, detach, and maintain your integrity. Preserve your clarity by walking away from their webs of deceit. As the Stoics teach, inner strength is rooted in confronting reality with courage, and liars, by definition, avoid that very courage. A chilling hallmark of a harmful person is their absence of remorse. It's natural to err, but remorse signals a conscience at work, a willingness to reflect and improve. Those who never feel regret when hurting others lack empathy, self-awareness, and a moral compass. Instead of apologizing, they justify or deflect, avoiding accountability, leaving no room for healing. And how does it kill no one? It's hurt. In Stoic thought, remorse is vital for self-betterment. Marcus Aurelius advocated self-examination, welcoming corrections to find truth without harm. Without remorse, one cannot correct course. Such individuals are morally adrift, unwilling to own their misdeeds. They may even paint themselves as victims, making you feel guilty for confronting them. This manipulative tactic creates more sense of gaslighting. It sidesteps any sense of wrong. Over time, you tiptoe around them, expecting no accountability, no acknowledgement of self. Yet Stoics remind us that we control our responses, not others. Recognize these heartless behaviors and protect yourself by setting boundaries. They cannot be changed through argument. They must choose to face their wrongdoing. Since that's unlikely, distance yourself. True strength emerges from admitting flaws and growing wiser. Those who show no remorse remain stunted, incapable of personal evolution. A person whose behavior is rooted in cruelty provides another unmistakable warning sign. Such individuals take pleasure in humiliating or belittling others, aiming to make them feel small. A co-worker who repeatedly shames a colleague publicly, or a so-called friend mocking your insecurities not in jest, but with genuine malice. These are not mere brusque personalities, but people who choose harm as a way of life. Cruelty can hide beneath sarcasm or so-called honesty masked as jokes or sincerity. Seneca advised, never growing indifferent to others' pain. Cruelty betrays a lack of empathy and a rejection of Stoic ideals, which encourage helping others thrive. These people can start off charming, making their shift to cruelty feel abrupt. Initially, you might excuse their actions as off days or harsh humor, but over time, a pattern emerges. They delight in exercising power through harm. Whether emotional humiliation or physical intimidation, their goal is control through suffering. Stoics warn us to remain vigilant. Cruelty drains our inner peace. Those engaging in it betray their own fears and insecurities. Real strength is kindness and self-restraint. Cruelty reveals deep weakness, an inability to face reality without harming others. Confronting them directly often fuels their fire. They rarely change. Instead, guard your serenity by setting limits. Stoic wisdom suggests not allowing their negativity to influence your character. Avoid prolonged contact, for cruelty can be contagious. Surround yourself with virtuous individuals who elevate you, not those who drag you down. Sometimes we resist acknowledging someone's dark nature because friends or family caution us, and we don't want to believe them. Emotional connections to a partner, friend, or coworker cloud our reasoning. We defend them, dismissing warnings as overprotectiveness. But Stoicism demands rational evaluation. If several trusted people voice concerns, step back and reassess. Stoicism. Perhaps you insisted others misunderstood this person or failed to see their true self. Over time, evidence mounts. Manipulation, inconsistencies, or poor treatment when no one's watching. The Stoics encourage embracing truth, even when it's painful. Ignoring sound advice can lead to greater suffering later. Admitting poor judgment is hard, but growth is impossible without honesty. Marcus Aurelius advocated seeking truth, for it harms no one. Loved ones raise flags because they care, hoping to spare you pain. Stoics teach that friendship and love rest on mutual respect and honesty. When those are missing, the relationship is fundamentally flawed. For 66 days, Henry James Longfellow, Reverend. Perspective matters. Loved ones have an objective vantage point you may lack. Emotions can blind you, making toxic patterns seem normal. Perhaps you've normalized control as care, or insults as humor. Listen when family and friends call attention to such patterns. Pride or wishful thinking must not eclipse the reality they point out. Don't assume you're immune to mistreatment. Character patterns rarely change easily. The Stoics highlight prudence, the wisdom to anticipate consequences. If reliable voices sound alarm bells, heed them. Adjust your course before harm deepens. True strength lies in acknowledging reality, even if it means releasing a misguided hope. Finally, contempt for others is a glaring indicator that someone lacks good intentions. Contempt is deeper than disagreement. It conveys that the other person is beneath consideration, respect, or empathy. Those who express contempt view others as inherently inferior. Even subtle sneers or sarcastic remarks that belittle someone's dreams or abilities are symptoms of this toxic outlook. Contempt corrodes relationships. Stoicism champions respect, kindness, and service to others. When a person radiates disdain, they reject these values. They might appear calm, even pleasant, but their disdain for others is unmistakable over time. Such an environment sours trust, prevents understanding, and destroys genuine connection. Contempt can be quiet, delivered through a smug expression or derisive tone. If you've endured a boss, friend, or partner who constantly belittled you, you know how destabilizing it can be. Stoics warn that contempt reveals the other's weakness. They feign superiority, but true strength comes from compassion and wisdom, not tearing others down. Close relationships often suffer most. A family member mocking your aspirations or a partner who constantly pinpoints your flaws is engaged in a slow erosion of your self-worth. Over time, you might internalize their scorn. Yet Stoicism insists we cannot control others, only our response. Recognize contempt for what it is, evidence of their failings, not yours. Protect yourself by setting boundaries and refusing to engage. We deserve connections built on integrity, respect, and kindness. Life is too brief to carry the burden of another's contempt. As Marcus Aurelius noted, the quality of our thoughts defines our happiness. Cultivate relationships that nurture your growth rather than stunt it. Remain grounded in virtue. Hold fast to your inner peace, and remember that others' cruelty or contempt reflects on them, never on your worth. Thank you for joining this journey. If these insights resonated, know that there is more wisdom to explore. Continue seeking clarity, peace, and purpose, and remember the Stoic principles that can guide you. Keep striving, keep growing, and stay anchored in virtue.